Stay tuned for urban legends to ghostly tales of the paranormal, because now it's time for
Message on the Wall.
Welcome to Message on the Wall as we take another trip through haunted cemeteries, this time in Iowa. We begin at Muscatine and to the Greenwood Cemetery with its main entrance on Lucas Road. With a parkland setting of lawns and trees, this is open ground with houses having been built up to its borders. This is not so much a haunted cemetery as an angel legend. The Blue Angel can be found inside the mausoleum of Harry and Catherine Huttig. Harry William Huttig was a very influential man in the Muscatine area up to his death in 1935. When Catherine joined him in 1948, their crypts were set side by side in the impressive Huttig mausoleum that sits in a secluded area to the back of the graveyard near Hershey Avenue. A white stone angel bent on one knee with her head bowed was placed centre of the crypts, a hand holding a rose reaching down as though about to place it on the crypt. At night, looking through the doors, the angel is quite eerie, with a blue glow coming from a blue stained glass window, throwing a blue haze both by the sun and the moon. Originally, the angel was said to be watching over the Huttigs, keeping them safe from vandalism, but then it took on a more sinister tale. It's said that anyone going and looking in at the angel, if she dropped the rose she was holding, it would mean the person would shortly die. Unfortunately, she didn't protect the crypt from vandalism, as it was the angel itself that now remains damaged, with her right hand missing. There are a variety of stories as to how and why the hand got stolen. Moving north by northwest, we go to Cedar Rapids, to the Oak Hill Cemetery, with its entrance at the junction of Mount Vernon Road and 15th Street. This is an open cemetery of a lawn and wooded setting. The legend here varies, but some agree that the female spirit is called Tilly, who is buried within the cemetery in a now unmarked grave. Some versions say she is a witch from the 1800s who was stoned to death, and having buried her, an iron fence was placed around her grave. But since that has been taken down, she is now free to roam at the cemetery. Another version is that she was a poor woman who lived in the area, dying without a possession or penny to her name, in which case she would not have had a headstone marker. There are those who say Tilly can be seen as a ghostly figure walking the grounds, with a small candle to light her way. Heading 15 miles northeast, on the east side of Springville, is Springville Cemetery, which is located on 1st Avenue. Though it is a fairly isolated spot, there are houses close by. The cemetery is reputed to be haunted by a former gravedigger from the 1920s. It's said that he was digging a grave when he fell in, breaking his neck. He now returns to continue his work and can be seen at night digging a grave as he did in life, except for his shovel that glows a green colour. Going 10 miles northeast, we leave Springville going to Anamosa, where on Sage Street there is the Holy Cross Cemetery. Here there is a lone tree stood a little way from a group of trees. This is said to have been at one time a hanging tree, as well as the land having been a native Indian burial ground. It's claimed that shadowy figures have been seen around the tree. Our 5th cemetery takes us west to Vinton. The Evergreen Cemetery is an array of headstones of various shapes and sizes, along with mausoleums, large and small, sat in a parkland setting. Although part of the cemetery is fenced off from the road, the two entrances on 10th Avenue are open, being without a gate. Houses have been built on the opposite side of the road, giving them a scenic view. A system of roads run round the large graveyard, with an entrance also on East 13th Street, which is sparsely bordered by shrubs and trees. Going along East 13th Street, east of the cemetery, the road becomes 59th Street Drive. Coming to railway tracks, there is the story of a woman in a white dress that rides a horse along these tracks, and a female voice has been heard in the graveyard. One section is dedicated to unknown soldiers, and it's here where the shadowy figures of ghostly soldiers have been seen. This section is easily recognisable, as there is the statue of a soldier stood on a large plinth that reads, "To our boys of 1861 to 1865, which of course was the American Civil War. At night the statue is said to watch any visitors to the site. And lastly, we head north by northeast to Charles City and the Riverside Cemetery, so called because it sits beside the river on the north side of the city. The entrance to this parkland setting can be found at the end of Hart Street, at the junction of Riverside Avenue. Ghostly figures have been seen in the trees, which is also the haunt of a native Indian. It's been described as an eerie place, especially at night, but people still pay a visit to take pictures that contain orbs and EVPs. Electronic voice phenomena has also been got here. And those are a few haunted cemeteries in the state of Iowa. You've been listening to Message on the Wall, brought to you by Paranormal X, your website for everything paranormal at www.paranormalx.yolasite.com.